Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Applied Economics. We are now at our third week, and our topic for this week is the circular flow of economic activity. For this week, we will be defining the word or define goods. We will also describe the different transactions in the circular flow of economic activity and differentiate the kinds of goods. So let's proceed to our discussion. So initially, the commercial world, as mentioned earlier, comprises of only two types of person. So we have the consumer and the producer. So for this one, the consumer are those persons who consume or buy the goods of the producer. So other times, the consumer are also buyer of services. So medical example of services are medical and dental services, educational services, vocational services like haircutters and dressmakers, auto mechanic, carpentry, and construction services. While the producers are those persons who produce, make, or provide goods to the buyers. So the producers also avail the services of the consumers. Examples, producers of bread needs baker. The baker needs bread also. In a simple market economy, we can illustrate this simple circular flow as goods and services to consumers and producers and buyers and sellers. So, what is the definition of goods? Goods are items that satisfy human wants and provide utility. For example, to a consumer making a purchase of a satisfying product. And goods, one common distinction is made between goods which are transferable and services which are not transferable. A good may be a consumable item that is useful to people but scarce in relation to its demand, so that human effort is required to obtain it. So we have different kinds of good. We have the economic good. So economic goods are tangible things which are useful but scarce. Example of it are oil, gold, and wood. We have free goods, and these are things which are useful but abundant. So we have air, water, ocean, land. Consumer goods are those things which are ready for consumption and gives direct satisfaction. So examples of this one are the houses, books, computers. And producer goods are goods which are used for the production of other goods and services. This also known as capital goods. Example is wood for furniture, oil for gasoline, diesel, sugar cane for sugar. So these are the different kinds of goods. Again, we have economic, free, consumer, and producer. So we are going to differentiate the four different kinds of goods. So for economic goods, again, we have um, minerals such as gold, and then we have oil, wood. These are economic goods. For free goods, these are goods that are useful but abundant. So we have air, water, and the ocean, land. So these are the free goods. You can see the differences. And for consumer goods, we have houses, computer, and books. And it is ready for consumption and it gives direct satisfaction. And producer's good is used to produce other goods and services. So capital goods, also known as capital goods. So we have here oil for gasoline and diesel sugar cane for sugar. So we have here the classification of goods as to necessity. So for this one, we are going to classify the goods as to necessity. And we have three classification. We have the luxury goods, and these are things which are not really needed. They give prestige and add status symbol. And usually one can live without it. We also have basic goods, and these are the things which are really needed and one cannot live without them. And last, we have the basic luxury goods, and these are luxury goods that are now being classified as things needed, like the use of energy or electrical power. So it is almost impossible to be a highly industrialized economy without the use of energy and oil, but we can still live without them. But the use of fast telecommunication and transportation are all assets of a progressive economy. But one person can still live even without communication and transportation. However, have you just tried to imagine yourself to be living in a situation wherein there's no television, radio, or any kinds of communication or transportation? So that is why there is a progressive economy. So in some places, people could still live even without those things. But in some location, people couldn't live without those things. So we have here another examples, or the different, how to differentiate those classification of goods as a necessity. We have luxury goods such as luxury cars, luxury items, branded designer clothes, designer bags. We have here Louis Vuitton and so on and so forth, the Lamborghini and so on and so forth. These are luxury goods and these are not needed. Basic goods are goods that we need for us to live. So we have food here as an example, and also clothing as well. And basic luxury goods is Wi-Fi, education, and energy for electrical consumption. So for education, people could still live even without education, but having educated people characterized on a modern economy. In truth and in fact, not all educated people are rich, but being educated is a tool for wealth and success in this world. So this is the classification of goods as to necessity. So for our week, we have activities, but before proceeding to activities, we have to discuss the multilateral transaction in money economy for consumers' goods. So the four sectors of the society are all involved in the market economy. And the four sectors are the government, household, firms, and savings investment. So usually the household provides service to the firms and the government, and receives wage as payment for service rendered. Household also invests in banks and other investment institutions and receives interest income out of their investment. There are also sources of factor of production land which are being used by firms or government offices pay rent to the household owner. Meanwhile, the savings investment sectors provide service through lending money to the firms, to the household, and even to the government. The household, firm, and savings investment institution are all pay taxes to the government as income to be used in all the provision of goods and services to the public. So this is the multilateral transaction in money economy for consumers goods. You may check your handouts and PDF for the diagram that we have. Also, we also have circular flow of goods and services in a market with government and foreign countries. So for this one, there is a economic flow and a flow chart of uh, flow of goods and services in a market with government and foreign countries. We have government, economic sources, purchases of goods and services to the household, and firms and foreign countries. So usually foreign countries are also included in the circular flow because some of the raw materials for the production of goods are imported, and the buying of imported products makes the dollar outflow or the income outflow, and the exportation of manpower through the overseas contract workers and the selling of exported products contribute to the income inflow or the money payments for imports. So this is for the week 3 discussion. So we have here the definition of goods, the different kinds of goods, classification of goods as to necessity, and the multilateral transaction in money economy for consumers' goods, and also the circular flow of goods and services in a market with government and foreign countries. Now, for your activities, we have two activities. We have activity 1, which is indicate the effect of the following conditions or economic entities on the circular flow of economic activity, whether it was an increase, decrease, or no change. And also for activity 2, we have matching type. So you may answer both activity, but I will only require you to submit activity 2, which is matching type, and match column A to column B. So we have 10 total of 10 items. So once again, if you have any questions regarding the lesson and or activity, you may personally message me through Facebook Messenger, or you may also you may also directly ask me at school, or you may also ask at our group chat or in our Google Classroom. And for this week's references and suggested readings, we have a reference of Principles of Economies with Taxation, Agrarian Reform and Cooperatives by Luz P. Banes, and suggested readings of Applied Economics by Eloisa M. Macalinaw. So again, once again, if you have any questions, don't hesitate to ask me. You may reach me personally through Facebook Messenger, or you may reach me personally or you may ask me directly at school. So for this week, week 3, we had the topic of circular flow of economic activity. And we had defined goods. Again, goods are the items that satisfy human wants and provide utility. And good may be consumable item that is useful to people but scarce in relation to its demand, so that human effort is required to obtain it. Remember that. We have described the different transactions in the circular flow of economic system. So this is the multilateral transaction in money economy for consumers' good, and also the circular flow of goods and services in a market with government and foreign countries. And again, and for this week, we also had discussed and differentiate the kinds of goods. So again, the kinds of goods is economic, free goods, consumer goods, and producer goods. And we had classified goods to as a necessity. We have luxury goods, basic goods, and basic luxury goods. So before ending this discussion, I would like to share you some information about luxury goods.
List, one thing you will notice is that Bernard Arnault, who controls luxury brands like Louis Vuitton, Christian Dior, and Givenchy, is the only billionaire in the top 10 billionaires list whose major revenue source is not related to tech. Today, luxury goods market is worth more than $300 billion and is growing at an exponential rate. So let's understand the business of luxury and how you can also create a luxury brand. So the major reason why people buy a luxury product is its brand. The marketplace is now cluttered with products in every space, so if you do want to create a valuable product, your brand should stand for something. When it comes to luxury, being unique is what counts, not any comparison with a competitor. Luxury is the expression of a taste, a creative identity. It makes the bold statement, "This is what I am." You have to be faithful to an identity rather than always be worrying about where your brand stands in relation to a competitor. When it comes to luxury business, the rules of marketing are reversed. Instead of getting a huge number of people to buy your products, you need to have a selected group of people whose ideology matches with what your product stands for. Your brand should help your customers amplify what they stand for and what they want to be perceived as. It should emotionally connect with your audience. To explain what I just said, let's take an example of Gucci. Gucci has developed itself as a symbol of abundance, someone who is well off and successful in life, and this symbolic representation can be seen in several music videos. Gucci knows that most people won't buy a Gucci shirt just for the sake of buying a shirt, because any rational person would think twice before buying an $800 t-shirt. But at the same time, people who seek to identify themselves as bold and having abundant in life will buy it without having a second thought. The reason why people buy your brand is its perception of what your brand means to them. This meaning exists in the mind of your target consumers. You can influence people, but you cannot have complete control on how people perceive your product. To create a strong brand, you need to have a story behind it. Almost all of the luxury brands have a story which connects and resonates with people. When people are spending hundreds and sometimes even thousands of dollars on a product, they're not just buying the product, they're buying the experience, a story attached with the brand. In addition, the value of your brand heavily depends on the pricing and exclusivity of the product. Though there can be few exceptions, but usually a product with higher price tag is considered to be of better quality and of higher value. In fact, in a study by Caltech and Stanford University scholars, people rated the same wine as better when they were told that it was more expensive. Moreover, while they were drinking the wine, an MRI scan of their brains suggested that participants actually enjoyed the experience of drinking the expensive wine more.
So as you can see in the video, it is explained that people or consumers tend to buy these luxury items not only because of its price or it's because of their social status, but also the experience that they had when they are purchasing this certain product and once they had this product.
After positioning your brand, you need to know how to market it while keeping its reputation as a luxury brand intact. Luxury brand marketing is focused on a small share of overall population. Not everyone can afford to buy a Rolls-Royce or Louis Vuitton dress. More precisely, luxury is about being extraordinary. Economically, it's about price and value. Socially, it's about status and exclusivity. And psychologically, it's about how the brand makes you feel special. Understanding these mechanisms is crucial for creating a desire and seducing customers into purchasing your brand goods, because at the end of the day, we rarely desire what we can have immediately.
So for these luxury goods, these are not really needed, remember, but they give prestige and they add status symbol. So this is one classification of goods to as necessity. I will show another example of a video. So this is what makes luxury brands expensive. So another example video I will show it to you in a minute. In the next video.
We use and come in contact with a variety of products in our lives. From necessities such as salt, cellophane, and tape, to products such as notebooks and accessories, the field is varied. And there are so-called luxury brands in each field, which are highly priced, hugely popular, and highly recognized regardless of their field. Many people still don't know why luxury goods are luxury. The reason why one watch sells for $20 and the other for $20,000. That is why the prices of diamond, which looks the same, are totally different. Jonathan Ive, Apple's chief designer, who designed most of its products, explains in a single sentence why luxury goods are valuable. The value of luxury goods comes from the efforts at detail. At the time I joined the company, the Apple CEO was far from details and designs. He was confident that better features and specifications would save Apple than his competition, and that the design was just a cover story. Consumers, however, were already tired of the IT industry's trend of emphasizing functionality, and the mere speed of it was not enough to open their wallets. Fortunately, Steve Jobs drove him out of the way. So I started my own design team, and I got the chance to design new products for Apple. Since then, the only thing I've been emphasizing is the detail. Detail is what touches the user and makes them fall in love with the brand. Packaging, formats, and user experience that can be overlooked are also not free from the importance of detail. Because I believed in the value of the detail, I took thousands of pictures of flowers to make a pretty flower-shaped dial, threw thousands of AirPods into artificial sweats, and found a color to match the product. Many users may not realize our commitment to detail. Some of you might just be thinking about why we pay so much attention to the packaging container, the shopping bag, and the lines. However, I would like to speak up. Keeping the details is the beginning and end of design, and it is the least courtesy to the consumers who search for and purchase luxury items. It is not only necessary for designers to recognize and protect details. Many people are sometimes in doubt. Clearly, there are no big differences in ability, so it seems to be similar in performance, the one receiving poor reviews and the one receiving recognition. Indeed, the difference between their abilities and performance will not be that great. But behind it is the enormous effort that has been put into making small differences in details. It takes a great deal of effort to make a small difference, but it makes a huge difference. It's okay if people don't care about it. When you find your own details and do it sincerely, it will soon lead to a huge difference in results.
So that is an example of, that is an explanation of why luxury goods are called luxury. So I have shared you some videos about the luxury goods. Why is it called luxury and why is it so expensive? So I hope you learned something about it. Now let's proceed to our discussion again. Thank you once again for this week. I hope that you have learned something, and once again, if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to ask me. You may reach me personally at school, or you may send me a direct message at my Facebook Messenger or Facebook account through Facebook Messenger. So thank you once again, and before ending this lesson, I would like to say thank you and share a Bible verse from the book of Mark, chapter 9, verse 23. So said Jesus, everything is possible for one who believes. So if you believe and if you have faith, so nothing is impossible. So just continue to pray, continue to 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 pray for what's in your personal intention, because nothing is impossible if you believe in your prayers. So thank you once again, and God bless everyone.